Perfect. Okay, I hit record. I'm with JP. Do I need to introduce you anymore? We're on to episode
No.
262.
Hey.
Do I have to tell people who you are? This is
No.
JP. He has
Hey.
like seven writing projects going right now, and they're all massively successful,
That's debatable, but okay.
which is amazing. It's not debatable, it's relative to
Okay.
my writing projects. So they're all they're all hugely successful. Um, this is gonna come out in like 4 weeks. So talk about the Lear Ackerman book and tell people to go get it.
Oh, okay, sure.
But don't mention that other dude's name. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I won't. Leah Ackerman series, book 5 of 6 is releasing in March. I can't remember the official date. I think it's like March 7th or something.
Nice.
So there are 6 books in the series. They follow like the pieces of chess, and so this is Dire Queen. It's a Dark Paranormal Academy series.
Very cool. And then you've got the serial going. Is it
Mm-hmm.
live yet?
Mm-mm.
You said you've done
Nope.
40, but it's not live yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's since it's contracted, they are I don't know. Now I'm in the gray zone because I can't remember what they said and it doesn't matter. But
That's the most fun zone.
it was either after 40 chapters or when they get all 60, then they're gonna to publish them. But it was just like I think it's reassurance on their end that they can have a publishing schedule
Gotcha.
because it's their product at this point. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
writing it for them.
Nice. That's great, man. That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other big things coming up that you need to share
A
with the world?
Kickstarter at some point is coming out.
For Mosswood?
Mosswood Apothecary, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you're going to tarot me today.
Sure.
Um, can I use that as a verb? Is that how it
I
works?
don't know.
Okay.
Sure. Why not?
Do what I want. Um, I have a story. Do I need to tell it? Well, I probably need to tell this
You
story.
do, yeah.
Okay.
You kind of do, yeah.
Okay. I'm working on a story. I'm writing it as a screenplay. It's called Mojo and Mayhem. It is about two friends, Andy and Max. Andy has been in an 18-month long relationship that sucked her soul and isolated her from all of her friends. And Max has decided that in order to help Andy get her mojo back, they are going to enter a competition that is going to put them into a secret society of small business owners in Baltimore, called the Guild. And in order to enter the and win a massive cash prize. In
Mm.
order to enter the guild, they are competing against seven other teams to find guild members and complete tasks for the guild members. They have 12 hours to complete as many tasks as they can. As they complete tasks, they get points. In the end, the one with the most points wins and gets acceptance into the secret society. So, um, the B story is that what you don't know at the beginning is that Max is actually doing this because her small business has failed and she needs the money to like resurrect it. Um, and that Andy's ex is actually in the competition and is competing against Andy directly. So we have lots of fun
This is
scenes.
nuts and I love it.
It's great. Yeah, it's wacky. I'm just doing something wacky. I had to wait until April to finish Nerd season 2. So
Yeah, no,
I'm just
I
gonna do
love
something wacky and
this.
fun. Yeah.
This is fun. And you specifically are asking me for
I need
competition
help with the
stuff.
tasks. Yeah, so I'm stuck on the tasks. I did the first task and I like it. They go see um M Mama Morgan, who runs a bakery in Baltimore. None of these people are real or places. They go see
Good.
Mama Morgan, who runs a bake. Well, okay, so to enter the competition, I'm just going to give you the two tasks I've come up with so that you get a flavor and so the reader understands why later we're talking about terrorism. So to enter the competition, they had to catch and kill a rat. And so instead of catching and killing a rat, they catch a live rat and they bring in a live rat because Andy doesn't want to kill it. But then the guy at the door, the character that I have titled Small Man, because I learned in screenplays I don't have to name characters, and it's my new favorite thing.
Yay.
So he's Small Man. He actually kills the rat in front of them, which makes Andy very sad. And it happens right before Max drags her into the room and she realizes that she'll be competing against her ex-boyfriend who she hasn't seen in 18 months and but she hasn't seen in a month and she desperately misses. So even though he dumped her and he's horrible to her. And then in the room he has like a terrible he like tries to convince her to leave the competition because she's a house cat. She's not made for things like this.
Hmm.
So that's what he tells her. So that's the first task they have to do. And then the second task they have to do, they run to Morton's, Morgan's. Sorry, they run to Mama Morgan's because that's who told Max about the competition in the first place. And she runs a bakery, and she says a competing baker, Carlo, has underbid her for a wedding cake that's happening today. And she's like, go destroy the wedding cake. So they bust into Carlo's kitchen wearing masks, but Carlo's ready for them. He has like big guys in the kitchen guarding the cake. So Max tries to take out some of the big guys with a bat, and it doesn't work. And so Andy sets off the sprinklers in the kitchen, and they ruin the cake with water. And then they run away. That's the first task. So they get a point.
Point of inquiry.
Yeah.
This is a task where you have to destroy a cake. Is this the task that everyone is getting, or is everyone else
No.
getting
So the
different
idea
tasks?
is that they were given a tablet, and on the tablet there's a map of Baltimore, and there's like 100 guild members.
Okay.
So every guild member has a task, or maybe more. So they
Okay.
find the guild member on the tablet. They go hunt down the guild member, and then they're like, "Hey, we're here for the guild.
Yeah.
What can we do to earn a point?" And the guild member like just has them do something
Okay.
that the guild member wants. Yeah,
Okay. So
and
there
I'm
may be like convergence points, but then there's also just like these
yeah.
individual
So some
tasks.
as the first two tasks, I want them to do by themselves. So I have the
Hmm.
first one. I want them to do one more by themselves, and then the third task they're going to lose to
Yeah.
another team.
Yeah.
And then after they lose to another team, and the idea behind the book is behind the screenplay. Damn it, what am I writing? The idea behind the screenplay is that naturally behind the game is that naturally as the day goes on, there are fewer and fewer tasks, so you're running into
Hmm.
more and more teams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
that's the.
many how many tasks?
Do we need to come up with seven,
Yeah.
7 to 10?
Seven. 7 to 10 to come up with. Okay.
Yeah, because I have a montage in the middle, and I need tasks for the montage.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Is that possible?
Anything's possible with tarot.
Yay. Okay, explain to me how tarot works because I grew up a cloistered into evangelical at the end of the satanic panic, and
Hmm.
I grew up believing that tarot was demon possessed evil. So
Interesting.
please tell me what tarot is.
Sure. So tarot is like, if you want history, it's cards, playing cards basically with
I
an
knew it
extra
was evil.
suit.
I'm just kidding.
It originally was a game, but yeah, they're used for divination. Cards have different meanings. There are the like minor arcana, which are the cups, swords, pentacles, and wands. And I don't remember which ones relate to like the suit cards of present day, but they sort of do.
What's an arcana?
Um, it's like magic,
Okay, okay.
like arcane, the
Oh, okay,
unknown,
okay, okay.
those sorts of spooky words that you want to
Gotcha.
say.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I ask.
Um,
I'm like, that's a good word.
yeah,
I don't know that
yeah,
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but all of those relate to various different things. Like cups have more emotion to them. Pentacles are more like physical, like money or finance stuff.
Okay.
Um, wands are all about like creativity and change, and then swords are all about like a lot of action, and sometimes a lot of like mental strain. Usually related to those because sharp
Okay.
edges and all of those things.
I
And
mean,
then there's
that's
the
like
major
perfect for the
arcana.
task we're doing
Yeah,
here.
well,
Yeah,
probably, who knows? We might end up with a lot of swords.
that'd be great.
Major Arcana is the big deck. It's the big story. It takes us from the Fool to the world, and all of the little bits in between. There's actually a couple of books that talk about storytelling using the Major Arcana because the Fool is, the person that takes the first steps on a journey, and they don't know what's up to happen, and then the world is the end, and that's when you know not everything, but you know the subject, and you've sort of taken that role where now what? Um, so
Calling them the
that's
fool is kind of judgy, I'm just gonna say.
well, I don't know what you want me to say about that. Again, I didn't
Just
make
putting that
them.
out there.
But I was thinking about this because I love pulling cards in threes for each of these tasks. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Um, and my thought is we pull one card and that represents sort of like the core.
Okay.
And we'll look at like what would this task encompass? We can talk about that. And then maybe because I love C's, we can do the catalyst and the culmination.
Damn it, he did
Um,
it again. You're
did
always
it
coming
again.
up with the like acronym
I
monogram.
try.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do the catalyst and the consequence, but then I was like, no, it's got to be different words. I culmination, but
Culmination. I like it.
sort of like the idea is we get the core, and then we get sort of what brings them into the situation, what takes them out of the situation,
Okay.
as sort of like how do they grow in this. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's find out.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
So
go. I'm ready.
let's pull the first card.
I'm ready.
We've
Do I
got
get
the
to see the
King of
cards?
Needles. You
King
will.
of
I'll show you.
Needles. Okay.
King of Needles. So this deck that I'm using doesn't use the traditional stuff. So needles is swords.
Oh,
So King of Needles, and I got words on these. This is the Madame Clara deck for anyone interested.
nice.
So our keywords are discipline, intellect, and authority. And we've got a couple imagery on here that we can always play with too. So we've got a fish going on here. So this could always be having to go to a fisher of some sort as an
Yeah.
option. Let's look at some. I'm also using a website to
I like the
grab some
idea
more
of them
information.
having to go to a fish market.
I
I
think that
like
would be
that.
really fun.
Yeah. And there are fish markets in Baltimore. There's like little fish markets in Baltimore through all the market
Yeah.
systems. So,
Okay, so King of Swords, and also another side note is when doing like readings, sometimes the like page, the queen, the king, and the knight can represent people. So this can
mm,
also represent somebody that they come to, and it's someone who's a symbol of intellectual power and authority. They have the courage and intellect to achieve all that they desire. It also indicates a clarity of mind.
okay.
This one is a lot about using logic and intellect to navigate a path ahead. So this is a really good first start sort of
I
things.
like that. Yeah.
Um, Potentially this could be I kind of get a vibe that this could be someone that maybe helps them later on. So this may be an important person for another task in the future
Ooh,
as
I
a
like
side
that.
note.
Yeah. That's
I'm gonna
nice.
pull the next card to get some vibe going on here, and then the culmination one as well. So interestingly enough, we ended up with the Queen of Needles next to it. This is the catalyst.
Okay.
And the King and Queen of Needles is really interesting. And we get the clear of mind, honesty, and unbiased. So this could be a mom and pop sort of Fisher thing going on. And then out of the end of it, in the culmination, we end up with the King of Matches, which is the King of Wands. So
Okay.
this is born leader, vision and intent, and success. So they clearly succeed in whatever this task is, and this sort of situation. So let me think here. I'm going to grab the Queen of Swords. Let's look at that. So, combining mental clarity and intellectual power is the Queen. Having a gift to be able to use your intellect and unbiased judgment. Um, Truth seekers are sort of the big thing here. They don't tolerate mistruths or excessive fluff. So, this could be a person that if your characters have this sort of unsuredness might be someone that's very like harsh and very like we're not going to do too
Ooh, I
much
like
chit
that.
chat here, like we got to get this done. Determined and independent.
Okay. So here's what I'm
And
thinking. Oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm sort of throwing stuff out so that you can sort of give me ideas as to what you're
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the King of Needles is the person they're getting the task from.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that he wants them to go and trick his ex-wife, the Queen of Needles,
Hmm.
into telling them something. So
Hmm.
there's a like, because I like the idea that she's like unbiased, and she has like that judgment. I like the idea of a truth seeker coming to her and her not having any toleration of nonsense. And there's lots of
Yeah.
Andy and Max have lots of nonsense. I mean, they called themselves Mojo and Mayhem, so there's lots of nonsense
hmm
happening. So I like that. Like, what do you think of that?
I think it depending on how wild you want to go, I'm sort of seeing this picture unfold here. If we've got the king as the one they go to, the fisher,
Yeah.
and we've got the queen who it sort of is like this, I don't know what that is, like a
It's like a
pelican or
stork.
something
Yeah.
going on here, but very like fish related, sort of eats the fish. But then we also have the king of matches,
Yeah.
another king that's not the king of
Oh,
swords,
yeah. Okay.
that maybe like, this is the guy that, the queen's been cheating on or something. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So the king sends them maybe to uncover the relationship with the king of matches and the queen of needles. I
Yeah.
like that. It's like a hey, you need to go get my wife to confess
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
hooking up with this dude. I can, and then, but she's a no nonsense person. So I like that
Mm-hmm.
they'll go have to encounter this kind of hard ass about
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a good task. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need any more clarity on that, or do you feel
No,
good
that's
about
great.
that
I
one?
can run with that. That's
Okay.
great. I
Okay.
just need like that.
Good
I
then.
just need like the once I get in
The
I mean,
spark.
you know
Yeah.
how you and I have written enough together. You know how I write. I need like the spark and like the basic idea, and then I figure the rest of the crap out on the page. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not putting those cards back into the deck, so that's how we'll move forward.
Ooh, I like that.
All right. So our core for this next task, which this might be the failure task, right?
Yeah, this one, I mean, we don't necessarily have to do it in order, but yeah,
Yeah,
ideally
yeah,
the
yeah.
third task they fail.
Okay. Well, this one is a cups.
Specifically, they get ganked by one of the other teams
Ooh.
because they're doing
Um,
well, they're feeling strong, like, oh my gosh, we're crushing this. And then, do you want to know who the other teams are that are
I
important?
want to know everything that you want to tell me.
There's a team of suburban moms. Um, there's a team of elderly men. There's two bodybuilders. There's two priests, and then there is Evan and Candy. Evan's the ex.
This is chaos.
This is what I have, JP, when I don't write with a partner. I have
I love it.
chaos. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I was just having a good time. I was like, okay, they walk into this empty bar and they're looking at all the teams. Which teams matter? I'm like, these are the teams that matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the Four of Cups, another aquatic theme going on here with
Man.
the crab.
Okay.
Keywords meditation, apathy, and contemplation.
Ooh.
And interestingly enough, here it says when the Four of Cups turns up in a reading, new invitations and opportunities are flowing to you, but now you're saying no and turning them away. So
Okay.
this card sometimes brings the message not now, but maybe later. So I think that this is one of those things where maybe they would be in a better position to take this opportunity later, or they would be in a better opportunity to fail this in order to gain something later on.
Okay.
Let me
I
see if I
like
can
that.
pull anything else from here. Yeah, because it says you may have to shut yourself off from new opportunities because you have been hurt or rejected before. So this could be something that they may be dealing with someone that they know or some situation that they're a little too close to.
Ooh.
Um,
I could bring Evan into it.
hmm.
He's the
So
ex.
we've got catalyst and culmination. I know my words.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a Six of Cups in reverse, two
What does that
dolphins.
mean?
Our keywords are forgiveness, serious, and independence. So this does feel like, I mean, cups, we're dealing with a lot of emotion going on here.
Yeah.
So I think that that past relationship thing is sort of
Yeah, it's got to
dealing
come
with
up
this.
in this task. What does it mean that it's in
Um,
reverse?
oh, so the cards can be read upright or reverse, and reverse isn't always necessarily bad, but it's sometimes like internal external. So usually when it's upright, it's more external, and it's in reverse, it has more of an internal. Although
Okay.
some cards when they're in reverse, it can be like bad things. It just
Okay.
depends. Um, so here in reverse, it's saying that like maybe you're clinging to the past, losing touch with the present. Reflection and nostalgia may bring up positive or negative feelings. Maybe that you've lost touch with your inner child and you've become boring, repetitive, and stale. So I think
Yeah.
that whatever this opportunity is, it's something that is from their past that they're not moving on with.
Okay. So yeah, so that's clearly the ex-boyfriend. And I'm seeing because we pulled him at the beginning and then there's this moment of like wrongful forgiveness maybe. I'm thinking
Hmm.
that the scene that's playing out in my head is they get there at the same time to the next guild member and Andy is kind of in a foot race with Evan and she lets him win. Yeah.
Yeah.
As in
Um,
hopes to like get his attention.
ooh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Because she's not,
And then
we're very early in the story. She's not ready to like kick his ass yet, which is coming at the end.
last card is a major arcana. It's strength.
Okay.
So it is a seal balancing a ball. Interestingly enough, we have more aquatic related things in this one. So if you wanted me to give you a location vibe, I almost get a vibe of like a pier, like
Okay.
something happening maybe near the fish market so they don't have to go that far,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
sort of something nearby. I sort of get this like I don't know what the hell's in Baltimore, so I can't tell you. You got to figure that out.
I mean, it's the harbor. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's the
Um,
harbor. I'm actually thinking that this has like maybe they're racing. There are some piers that like stick out off of Federal Hill area. So maybe they're racing down a pier to get to a certain boat.
yeah. And like
And
this is sort of like a test of strength or endurance.
yeah,
So
I like that. And she lets Evan win.
yeah. And so the strength card urges you to tame your animal instincts, gut reactions, and raw emotions and channel these initial responses constructively. It's normal for those feelings of, shame, sadness to arise, but it's what you do with those emotions that make all the difference. So I think that this is definitely one of those like emotion is driving the initial part of this task and it's overcoming it but losing the task.
Okay. I like it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. I like that a lot. That's a great number three. I'm actually
Yeah.
picturing what I think is going to happen is I think they're going to be racing in their cars to the pier. And then I think Max will probably crash into Candy to keep Candy from, hoping to keep Candy from getting there. And she'll be like, quick, jump out of the door
Hmm.
and go get the task. And then I see a foot race and I see like Evan spraining, but maybe faking a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
And Andy going back to get him and help him and then giving him the task and being like, yeah, you can have it. Yeah. I think
Perfect.
that's going to be good. I like that a lot. Yeah.
All right. Ooh, next up. 10 of buttons, but in reverse. Now, buttons are pentacles, and remember, pentacles are more like concrete stuff. It's more financial stuff. So this would be a sort of a change of pace or a change of tune.
Okay.
Um, this is the keywords. I'll show it on screen here. Insecurity, financial loss, and instability. So, a couple things here. This is about wealth accumulation and established family and home life, attaining that and material realm. Reversed, it's questioning whether you want to live this way. Do you really want to be chasing the next $1,000? That's really applicable for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Do you want to be pushing for that marriage or family instead? Like, what is it that you're trying to do for stability? Because in reverse, you're really bringing that into question at this point. So whatever this thing is, it's bringing up the reminder that wealth can be a trap. When you surround yourself with expensive things, you may want more and more and never feel satisfied with what you have.
Okay. I like that.
So
There's a
coming
lot in there.
into
My
this,
my brain's kind of running. So give me the next card.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So coming into this, where the tower reversed, Agatha. Um,
I was about to say,
the
that's
tower,
Agatha, right? Yeah.
the tower reversed is all about resisting change. It's the fear of loss, and it's having a close call. So a close potential danger or something along those lines. Tower upright is like massive chaotic change. And so in reverse, it's more of that like internal upheaval
Okay.
that's going on in life. I'm going to quick scroll to the tower just to get there. Whatever the situation is, it has both major arcanas around it. So this seems like a big character growth opportunity.
Mm,
But starting off here, it suggests that they're undergoing a significant personal transformation and upheaval. It can be a sign that they're resisting that change, maybe delaying the necessary destruction that may come from it because they're sort of on a character growth journey, you know that there's sort of that like destruction of oneself, breakdown of oneself that has to be made, and people are resistant to that. So that's sort
yeah.
of where we're at when this challenge happens. They may be in denial that the change is even happening,
Mm,
but coming out of it in this situation of maybe dealing with whatever these fears are with insecurity and financial loss, they become the universe. This is a special card to this deck. It doesn't exist outside of this one, but the universe is all about infinite growth and evolution and possibilities. So I think that the situation they come into and the core meaning are very like reversed and have those fears, but it's overcoming that fear and finding that like we can have that growth if we accept the fact that we are going to be unstable for a little bit.
yeah. So this has to be a max task when I line all three of those up and help me. I'm gonna just gonna go through what's in my head and help me
Hmm.
if you because it's an incomplete picture. So if you can plug in a puzzle piece. So Max is in the race because she wants the money to prop
Hmm.
up her failing small business of a comic book store. Part of the reason it's failing is because she is chaos in general.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I'm thinking they go see one of the guild knights, thinking that they're going to get a task. But the guild knight looks at Maxine and tells her she just has to confess something to him.
Hmm.
That's really about, maybe it's about her business. Maybe she has to explain why it failed to him. Like, I almost want him to have some kind of knowledge into her that shocks her.
Yeah.
And then she has to like admit this thing to him that gives her some freedom in the end.
In the end, when they do win, is she going to revitalize what she already has, or is she going to start something new?
I haven't really decided yet.
So I feel like this is saying you, there's a reason you failed, and that going back to it is a danger.
Oh, so maybe for some reason in this with the cards you pulled, I have like a George Burns kind of character in my head. So like maybe it's like an old man and he's like, mine's easy. You just got to pass a riddle.
Hmm.
Maxine, why'd your business fail?
Yeah.
And then she can give him like all kinds of excuses and he could just be like, no, nope,
Yeah.
no point for you. And then finally she's going to be like, fine, it failed because I couldn't manage it.
Yeah.
And then he can be like, great. Is money going to fix that? And
Yeah.
then he can just leave her with that question. He can be like, "Hey, you got the point. See you later." And that kind of sets her on her. What am I do? Like, what is this to me? What am I actually doing here?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Does that work?
I mean, one, that's your story.
Well, I
Two,
know,
that
but I want your opinion.
that sounds exactly like this situation. And I
Yeah.
think too that like wherever this is, that's sort of the first thing that I think that that character needs because to me when you were telling me like this character she's lost her job or like her business it's
Yeah.
failing, is money actually going to fix that? And like my brain was immediately like I don't actually think it's going to. Like I think that if she wants to be successful she's going to have to start something new,
Yeah.
but she needs to get
She
over
needs to get
her
over what she's
failure.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Next. Wait, how many has that been? Three. Okay,
That's
we're
three.
at three.
Yeah. We're doing great.
We're doing good. Ooh, the magician in reverse. All
So
right.
fake
So,
magician.
the fake magician. The
There is a
magician
there is
in
a oh, a spider. There is a magic bar in Baltimore, which is
that's definitely what's
fascinating.
where you're going.
It is owned by a guy who used to be the National Ronald McDonald in the 70s. And his son now runs it, I think. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but he does come in at night and do magic tricks on the stage that's in the bar. And they aren't like stupid, like, hey, this is your card. They're like intense, like, I'm gonna levitate. Like, it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's intense. Anyway.
All
Okay,
right. So,
spider.
magician in reverse, we've got manipulation, unfocused, and deception. So, the magician upright is all about like having all of the tools you need in order to do whatever it is that you're looking to do. But in reverse, you're sort of like exploring what you want to manifest, but you're not taking action yet. You're uncertain if you have everything you need. You may be unsure on how to make it happen. If you're already like making a goal or doing something, it can be a sign that you're struggling to see progress. Um, at worst, it can be greed, manipulation, and trickery. And you may be masterful at manifesting, but you're out of touch with your higher self. So, this could be a greedy or manipulative character that is sort of being deceptive intentionally. And I
Oh, I
think that
like
it is
that.
at your magic shop.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
think that this next one sort of, ooh, you've got matches around both of them. Matches being wands, wands being things of change. Um, Both are in reverse, and I'm just gonna quick pull this up. You've got first up, you have the eight of matches. Eight of matches is all about slowing down because you've got panic and delays.
Okay.
And I think that that's sort of coming into this. They may have the need to rush. They're probably feeling like they're they're running out of time is probably, I mean, you've done three tasks. The last one would probably took forever if it was the one with having to accept that sort of
Yeah.
failure. I'm going to assume. So then they would
Yeah.
feel rushed and they would feel like, we got to charge
Mm.
ahead. Um, but they actually have to slow down and consider what is happening here because there's a lot of deception that's going on. So they may be rushing into it. They may not be investing time in like the trivial stuff and trying
Mm.
to just get through the problem, um,
It's like a
and sort
missing
of
details
resisting.
type thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
However, they may end up failing this one.
I'm up for that.
That's up to you. But we get the six of matches in reverse as well. So six of matches in reverse is arrogance, disgrace, and pride.
Mm.
So it suggests that you reached a significant personal milestone, but unlike the upright version, you prefer to keep it to yourself right now. So it even could be like a hidden reward, maybe. Um, it encourages you to create your own definition of success. That you may suggest that you had a fall from grace and you didn't receive the public recognition you were seeking. Maybe you got no feedback for your efforts. Um,
Mm.
it can also bring self importance, arrogance, and egotistical behaviors. So it could be that they won, but they won in a way that sort of is pushing them in the wrong direction. Sort of like they had to reveal this truth and now they're getting like they're trying to
They're
refuse
becoming
that change.
cocky.
So here, yeah, they're getting cocky.
I think I like it the other way. I think I like them losing.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, because of the way the pictures look, for some reason, I want them losing to the old men. Yeah. I don't know why that reads to me old
That is
timey
an
dude.
ostrich.
Oh, okay. It was upside down.
Yeah, it is upside
Yeah.
down.
Um, or maybe they're losing to the suburban moms. Something with
And birds
details in the
over here.
suburban moms. I'm kind of getting a picture. You watched The Magicians.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Quentin and what's the greatest character of all time? I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Um,
Elliot?
Elliot, thank you. Quentin and Elliot had to like solve the puzzle, and they end up
Yeah,
spending like
Life in a
200 years.
Day. That's
Life in a
fine.
day. Yeah.
That was a great episode. I'm
Oh,
fine with
it's
it.
like the greatest episode of all time.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, you don't cry at the end of that episode.
Nope.
No.
Or when you're thinking about it.
Or when you think, or sometimes when you're just walking down the street, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I'm thinking that there's some kind of puzzle that they have to race. I like the idea that they go to the magic bar and that the person they
Mm-hmm.
meet there's a little kooky. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I made a puzzle you have to solve.
Yeah.
And the old men show, or the suburban moms show up at the same time. And they start, and he's like, I have two. Let's make it a
Mm-hmm.
race. And so they
Mm-hmm.
start racing with the puzzle. And Max, because she's all like emotionally defeated, is like pushing Andy away and being like, I got it, I got it, I got it. And then she thinks she solved it, but it's actually the puzzle needs some kind of trick to it.
Yeah. Or there could be like missing pieces that have been around them, and the
Mm,
suburban family, like, or whoever, they saw it, but
yeah.
they're like focused on the thing in front of them, and they're like, yeah, we got this.
Oh,
And
I
then they
like
get
that
and
a
they're like,
lot.
we're missing pieces. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have been missing pieces if you listened to me this whole damn time.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, and I like them being, and as we're talking, this didn't occur to me, but I actually think the points don't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the trick of this game with the guild. I really like this idea that in the end, what they're actually doing is meeting a bunch of guild members. And the points don't matter in the end because the guild members are actually just voting in who they like.
You know what it could be is that maybe the points have like colors associated with them, and maybe even if they lose, they get something that's like a color, and the color
Mm,
is what
that's what it
associates whether or not
says.
they've been approved or not. So
Yeah.
like you could have XY points, but it's like, oh, but how many greens do you have? I don't know. Something
Mm,
along those lines.
I like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, and the thing is, at the end, I set the game up so that because I have a Denzel Washington character tell them the rules. So I set the game up so that Denzel tells them, like, at the end of the timer, you're going to get an address on your tablet, and you go
Hmm.
to that address. The winner is sent to one address, the losers are sent to another. So you won't know because one of the last images of the movie for me is them standing outside the store trying to decide whether or not they're going to open it. That's like one
Yeah.
of the final images of the movie for me. So I like that.
Or they get
Yeah.
keys, and it's, do the keys actually work on the locks that they get at the end?
That's a good one too. Yeah, if you got the right key. I like that too.
Keys to
Okay,
the
I'll play with
city.
that. I'll play with that. Yeah, I like the keys to the city. Ooh, that one's gonna spin me for a bit. Okay, let's do the next test. We're on four.
Okay.
Let's do five. Because I gotta think about
Two.
all those things. I'm not ready to answer those yet.
Oh, okay. We've
Go.
got the two of needles, decision, impasse, avoidance. I'll look this one up, but also the two of needles in, I'll show you it upright. Is this upright? No, this is in reverse, but it's a bat with a blindfold on.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so one of the things that I know about this one in the normal one is it's usually someone who is holding sort of two swords, and they have a they're balancing on something, and they
Hmm.
have a blindfold on, and they're just kind of stuck between two decisions, and it's sort of like they'll get cut either way, kind of sort of thing. I hit the wrong key. Oops. It's fine. We're gonna get there. So here, two of swords. We have difficult decisions. Are we upright? Yeah, we are upright. Did I
Hmm.
say reverse? We're upright. Two of swords upright. Difficult decisions, weighing of options, and impasse and avoidance. So here, facing a challenge decision, obviously,
Hmm.
unclear about which option to take. So this, there are two clear options, equally good or equally bad, and they're stumped about which will lead to the best outcome. They have to weigh the pros and cons for each choice, and make a concise judgment.
Hmm.
Use
Okay.
both your head and your heart. So I think that since you have two characters, they have to make an agreed decision here, and it has to be clear on which choice they make. Um,
Okay. I like that.
yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything else to grab. I don't think so. I think that that's pretty straightforward. You're surrounded by aces, which is fun. So we're gonna go with you've got the Ace of Pentacles and then the Ace of Cups. So I'm just going to open both of these at once and freeze my computer.
Hooray!
Ace of Buttons in reverse is a warning, lost opportunity, and instability. So this is what they're coming into the situation with.
Okay.
Um, Ace of Pentacles reversed. So here we've got hesitant about moving forward with an offer, an invitation, or opportunity, particularly one that relates to your career, finances, and business. So
Okay.
they're at this point they're feeling really hesitant, like, is this what we truly want? Which I think makes sense for the progression of the
Yeah.
story. If we were going to go in complete order. Um, they may catch themselves second guessing or doubting, which really sets them up really well for having to make a clear decision in this next thing, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Um, it's also a warning that a financial opportunity could fall through unexpectedly, or the other party might retract without explanation. So
Okay.
they could be fighting, having some infighting
What's the
as
picture
well.
on that?
It is a bunny that is made out of an accordion or something,
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
getting kind of pulled in half.
Okay. What's the third card?
Third card is the Ace of Cups, and it is also in reverse. So it's not great. Well, actually, it's not terrible. It's just in reverse. It's more internal. Okay.
Okay.
This is the self-love card of the tarot deck, the Ace of Cups. And the upright, I'll just show you upright there. You see cups.
Gotcha.
So in reverse, it speaks to love for oneself. So before you send your love out into the world, send love to yourself, filling up every cell of your body with love and happiness. As you do this, the more you can exist in flow with life itself. It's a sign that you are in connection with your subconscious mind and attuned with your intuition. You're also exploring this part of yourself privately now and discovering how to bring more intuition into life. It can also be a sign of repressing emotions and wanting to express yourself truly.
Mm,
Um, it can show that you're in a relationship. It can show that you're withholding your emotions for fear of getting hurt. So
okay.
this could be that they have to make a tough decision where your main POV is sort of withholding some emotion in order to make the right decision.
Gotcha. So here's what I'm thinking. Now we've put all this together. At some point, I need them to witness. I got to up the stakes. And around
Hmm.
this time, task number 5 is around the time to do it.
Yep.
I need to up the stakes and I need to kill a character because you know I like to kill
That's a
characters.
real tough decision.
I like to kill characters. I don't want them to kill the character.
Hmm.
I want one of the other teams to do it. I kind of want the priests to do it. And the bat reminds me of the priests, which makes me happy. So I'm thinking they're actually racing to see a guild member. I don't think they ever get the task.
Hmm.
And I think the guild member is probably at some kind of like roof deck party bar because that goes to the
Hmm.
Ace of Cups for me. That like it's like a place like, where people are like meeting and greeting and like hanging
Yep.
out and like looking for love type place.
Yep.
Third story maybe, like
Yep.
roof deck third story bar. They're on the sidewalk. They look up. They see that there's all the like priest is up there fighting, like arguing with one of the bodybuilders,
Hmm.
and I think the priest pushes him off the deck, and the bodybuilder falls to his death. I think that's
Hmm.
and then there's like a oh shit moment.
Yeah. So what are
Yeah,
they going to do? Are they going to
yeah.
report this to the
I think they
police?
run like hell. I think that's what
Right.
happens.
But I
I
think that
think they
that's
run
the
like
decision,
hell.
right? End this stuff that's happening tonight by reporting what is going
Yeah,
on in the city,
or
or
keep going.
keep going because we got to get to the end and now shit's
Yeah,
got real.
yeah. And I think I mean, they're definitely going to keep going. I also like the
Yeah.
idea that one priest pushes the bodybuilder off the roof and he dies, and then the other priest is down there with them.
Yeah.
And so they look up and the other priest is like murderous intent. Does that make sense? Like, because you just have to survive to the end of the game. And I've seen it up at the beginning that like sometimes people don't survive this game.
Yeah. And
So
like we've got in the cards here, we've got the warning, and the lost
yeah,
opportunity, which I think they're headed a place. They see that and they lose their next opportunity because maybe there's a timer on when they get to go to the next guild
yeah,
spot,
yeah,
and they get the hell out of there because they don't want to participate in whatever's
yeah.
going on.
Whatever the murder is
Um,
of the priests murdering people.
and I kind of get a feel that like because you're going to be in the POV and sort of like with them, that
Yeah,
they might be arguing with each other and trying to like withhold some
totally,
emotional stuff, right?
totally. They're probably after the magic bar, they're likely not speaking to each other. I've already had
Yeah.
several moments where they in the opening 21 pages, there's several moments where they don't speak to each other because they're
Yeah, yeah,
like when Max takes Andy to the initiation, but doesn't tell her that Evan's going to be there. They
yeah,
leave the initiation and Andy's like Max. They pull up in a car in front of Mama Morgan's and Andy's like, or Max is like, "Are you gonna start speaking to me yet, or are we gonna do this whole day in
yeah,
silence?" Like, so I
yeah,
think there's a like them giving each other the silent treatment is a thing
yeah.
they already
And
do. Yeah,
I almost see it like, they're approaching whatever this is. They see the bar up there. They see the priest already there and they're like, oh shit, whatever. And then they face each other and they have the actual argument and they're close enough that
yeah,
when the body falls, that's when they look up and they see and then they scatter. But
I
like
love it.
having that real big personal moment right then and there.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I love that. Okay, that's a good one.
All right,
That's nice.
number six.
Number six.
Okay, got got a lot of fun going on here. All right, first up, we have the core. The core is the Hierophant.
What is a Hierophant?
That's the teacher.
Oh, okay.
Um, where are you? Here you are. So it's the praying mantis. I love this so much. So the Hierophant is
Yes,
sometimes depicted as like a pope, and this deck has fun differences. So
that's fun. Okay, very cool.
little
I love
praying
that.
mantis, little bugs
Yeah.
around listening. So we've got keywords wisdom, beliefs, and morality, not mortality, morality. So it's upright. It represents an established set of spiritual values and beliefs, and is often correlated with religion or other formal doctrines. So it's working with a teacher, a mentor, or a guide to teach you about spiritual values and beliefs in a structured way, sort of like an authority person that's kind and generous who nurtures your spiritual awareness. The arrival of this card suggests that you're following convention and staying within the bounds of the tried and tested model. You're not yet willing to go out on a limb and offer any new and innovative ideas.
Okay.
You're adhering to key principles and rules.
I like that.
All right. I'm gonna hit this and go over here. Oh, I
I
can't.
like that because it gives us like something to learn in this one, which is
Yeah, yeah.
great.
This is like teacher thing. This is getting
Yeah.
back to the core tenets of stuff. I think that they need to get back on track, and they need somebody to sort of slap them into it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm nervous about the next card you're going to pull, but I like where it is so far.
so the card for the catalyst
Yeah.
is the devil reversed,
Okay.
which is really
I
ironic
knew
with the
that these
Hierophant.
cards had demon in them. I'm just kidding.
So upright, it's a some type of beetle.
Yeah.
Um, in reverse, it's all about detachment, freedom, and self-control. Um,
Mm.
so it can appear when you're on the verge of a breakthrough or an up-leveling. You're being called to your highest potential, but first you must let go of any unhealthy attachments or limiting beliefs that may hold you back. Often, when you are called to something more, you must deal with the shadows before you can step into this new version of yourself. So it may be an addiction, unhealthy relationships, or disengaging career. Letting go of that fear and self-imposed beliefs help you with growth. This is perfect for a number six task. Like this is,
Yeah.
that dark night of the soul sort of moment. It's confronting inner fears and anxieties and freeing yourself from those chains that bind you.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cute. And we end up with the three of cups, which is friendship
Okay.
and
Perfect.
collaboration and community. So they finally talk to each other,
Yeah.
which is a plus.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so this card is celebration, friendship, sisterhood, and creative collaborations. Your friends and family are here to support you and lift you up even to a higher level of success. So it's a celebration of some sort. Um, it's encouraged to gather with your closest friends and have a good time together. So I think that they get real deep, and then they have the ability to be friends again and sort of be able to be together and celebrate.
Okay. So here's my brain is plugging like the Baltimore side in this.
Yeah.
So something Baltimore is known for is addiction. That's something
Hmm.
that like we as a city are known for. So my thinking is they're going to go see somebody, and I'm thinking because the priest just murdered somebody, I'm thinking they're actually going to go see a religious figure and be kind of freaked
Yep.
out going in, like, oh my gosh, how many priests, how many murderous priests are in this game?
Yep.
And then, but instead, that guy's going to be like, hey, deliver this to this spooky place in this back alley. Like my son was doing, I'm thinking about my son did Uber Eats last summer, and lots of drug addicts use Uber Eats in the city.
Yeah.
And it would always be like, hey, go to this abandoned building. And the door on the left, this abandoned business building, the door on the left that's red is propped open. Come up to the third floor and leave the bag of Taco Bell outside of the second door on the right. And he'd be like, okay. So we do it and he get back down. As he was walking down the stairs, this guy was like, thank you. And then they like gave him a huge tip. So I'm using that as inspiration. I'm thinking, I know, my 21-year-old. I'm thinking that they go get this test to deliver this thing to a spooky place. But when they
Yep.
get there, what they're delivering is actually like food to somebody who's detoxing from something and is like
Yeah.
isolating
Yeah.
himself. And so it ends up being a very kind task. And maybe either the person that gave them the box or maybe the guy detox is like, hey, can you take this back to them? Like,
Yeah.
and gives them. And so when they deliver the thing back to the priest can be like, what did you think the guild was about? Like, this
Right.
is about helping each other out. And
Yeah.
so you get into that, like, that kind of brings them back in. And like, okay, now we're
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you could have it right at the bat that the priest tells them that they have to return,
Hmm.
and so
Take it to me and
either
bring this
way that
back.
works.
Yeah.
But that's perfect. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
perfect one. And this one sort of has that like creepy
Hmm.
crawly feel, so it's
Yeah, that's
perfect.
what or the praying mantis also gave me the like creepy crawly, like
Yeah.
this looks dark, but it's actually very sweet on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes them both go like, all right, it's kind of that right before the bad guys close in. It feels it's kind of the end of the fun and games. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like right before the bad guys close in, we're at the end of the fun and games. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
that like rally moment.
You ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. I shuffled.
Do we have time to do 10? I'm gonna need 10.
Okay. We'll just keep going.
Okay. Did we run through the deck?
No, there's
Okay.
78 cards.
That's what I was like, what man? Did you put the old cards back in or are you just shuffling in
No,
general?
they're
Okay.
still right over here.
Okay. I didn't know. I don't know. I can't
No,
see
it's
what's
fine.
happening. Yeah.
So we get the Hermit, which
Oh, I
is an
like this.
anglerfish.
This is great.
So keywords here: soul searching, self discovery, some alone time. So I think that they're going to be isolated for a period of time.
Okay.
Whatever they have to do is
Yeah, they're by themselves somewhere.
in the dark, but
Yeah.
not creepy dark. It's more like they're stuck in the dark, whatever that is.
Okay.
Some just quick things here: taking a break from everyday life, drawing attention, retreating to your private world, experiencing a deep sense of seclusion and introspection. Um,
Okay.
it's a pivotal point in your life, considering a new direction. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the Hermit. I mean, it is what the card is, right? They're
Yeah,
just soul searching.
I'm with you.
Um,
What's the
they're coming
catalyst?
into this exhausted. That's pretty much the keyword here. Four of Needles reversed is exhaustion, stagnation, and burnout. So
Okay.
they're probably pretty tired by this point of the game anyway. Um,
Okay.
would be my guess. Just gonna quick look this up really quick. It's a good thing you wanted to do more because this one doesn't end super happy.
No, that's okay.
um,
I've actually got a picture in my head of what this is.
okay, perfect. Um, let me just quick grab this. So in reversed, um, four of needles or four of swords. You need to take time to rest and recharge. You may be working long hours. Give your time energy to the others need. It's calling you to withdraw from the external world and take some time to detox. At the end of this, we've got the three of buttons in reverse, which is disharmony, dissension, and apathy.
Okay.
So interesting. Let's see what that one quick says. Three of buttons, where are you? Okay, grappling with a lack of harmony with your fellow team members,
Okay.
making it difficult to complete a project. You may not be on the same page as one another. You're not listening or valuing another's opinion. If this resonates, you need to realign with your original goals. It may also be a lack of respect between team members trying to prove themselves or gain superiority. It's kind of a
Okay.
big shift,
Here's
but
what I've
what are your
got.
thoughts?
I don't think that applies to team members. So here's where
Yeah, yeah.
so and again, you started pulling these cards. You pulled the Hermit card, and I was like, oh, that's who this is. So it's a long story. I once bought a house without looking at it, which I was kind of tricked into. It's a long story. It's in my book, Inside Outside. You can read it there. Um, and the guy that lived there before me, the joke, it wasn't a joke, it really happened. The old man selling me the house as he was letting me into it after I had given him like a deposit check, said to me, "Hey, be careful and hold your nose because this guy was lazy before he lost his legs." I was like, what? He was a shut-in. So here's my idea. He came to mind when you pulled the hermit card. So here's my idea. My idea is that we're not going to meet the knight that gives them the task. We're just jumping straight into the task this time. The
Hmm.
task is for them to take this guy's hermit locked down brother who's like stuck in the basement playing video games and get him upstairs to the roof deck for sunshine. That's the
Hmm.
task. So they bust into this guy's basement and he fights them all the way upstairs. And they finally get him upstairs in the sunshine and they put him on the deck. And they're like, man, it's a beautiful day. And he's like, how effing long do I have to stay up here? And so he's like, he's the discord and harmony the whole time. He hates it.
Yeah,
He's mad at
yeah.
it. Yeah. It's just a stupid, dumb task. But it's the like, you know, dragging a hermit out into the sun only to find out that he doesn't want to be there. So yeah, that's where I'm going with that one.
Okay. I love it. Um, all right, give me 2 seconds. I am gonna quick pull this up. So we've got okay.
Okay.
I pulled these cards as we were talking.
Oh, nice. Great.
Six of needles.
Six of needles.
So it's six of swords. So this one is a rite of passage. It's moving on and it's healing.
Okay.
So here we've got um being in a state of transition, leaving behind what was familiar and moving into the unknown, um, which is like this entire story.
Yeah.
um, you may be your own doing or forced upon you. You may feel sad to leave behind what is familiar to you, but it will be replaced with mental clarity. Um, Invites you to let go of whatever's holding you back.
Okay.
So this is another one to like sort of let go of that mental baggage. We
Okay.
have a king of buttons, which is sometimes a person. So coming into this, we have the king of pentacles or king of buttons in reverse. So the keywords here are indulgence, greed, and stubbornness.
Okay.
So This asks you to look at your relationship with money and wealth. On one hand, you may not be managing your wealth well. You may attract large sums of money through your business enterprises or a high flying career, but as soon as cash hits your bank account, it's on its way out, and you splurge on expensive items or invest in high risk opportunities. You're not treating your money with respect, and instead, you need to draw upon your self discipline and control so you can save your future. So this
Okay.
seems like a
Draw on
person that they're
self-dis.
about to interact with.
Yeah. I actually think this is the last task.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, I need another card though. What's the third card?
Wheel of Fortune.
Is it
That's what
really?
it is. Yeah.
Okay. What
Wheel
is
of
the Wheel of
Fortune.
Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune reminds you that the wheel is always turning and life is in a state of constant change. If you're going to go through a difficult time, rest assured that it will get better from here. Good luck and good fortune will make their return in time. It is also known that the wheel of karma, and it reminds you of what goes around comes around. Be kind and be loving, and they will be kind and loving back to you. Be nasty and mean, and they will get nasty back to you.
Okay.
So be optimistic, have faith, and the universe will take care of you in the best situation possible.
Okay. So I'm thinking the reason I said this is the last one is because with that like rite of passage, this has to be Andy's face off with Evan, the last face
Yeah.
off with Evan. And it has and it because it's inviting her to let go.
Yeah.
Again, I need Maxine entangled with Candy so that they disappear and we get a second square off between Evan and Andy. I'm thinking they're on a scavenger hunt in Enoch Pratt Library,
Hmm.
looking for a book that doesn't have pages but has a key in it. I think this is the last task where they're all hunting for a key. And I think Andy and Evan are both running to the same location. And they both find like they've both figured out the riddle that leads them to the right section.
Hmm.
And Evan's just tearing through books. And I
Hmm.
see Andy kind of like deciding to trust herself and closing her eyes and just
Yeah.
picking a book off the shelf, and it's the right one. And then I think Evan chases her through the library, and she has to like trip him up and knock him down somehow. Because at the beginning of the, I mean, because it needs to end how it begins. So at the beginning of the story, Maxine tells her, by the end of this, you're going to stand over him like a victorious Viking and look down at him and say, you can suck on all this awesome Andiness. And Andy's like, that's not something I'll say. But that's kind of that's the ending scene I
Yeah.
wanted to, yeah.
I have a thought here.
Okay.
Um, Instead of randomly grabbing a book, what if the title of the book had words that were sort of sprinkled throughout the rest of the story?
Oh, that's great. I like that. Yeah.
And so it is a mix of luck and being in the right shelf at the right time, but it's also using the knowledge that they had in order to,
Yeah. I like that. They had to learn stuff to find the book. That's good.
yeah,
That way it's not
yeah.
random chance. Yeah. That's really great. I like that a lot. All right.
Yay.
I think we did it.
We did it.
I'm good. I don't need three more. That's great.
Good.
And I think the book is
Excellent.
much better for it. I'm not writing a book. I think the screenplay is much
You're writing
better
a
for it.
screenplay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say, writing a screenplay, JP, is very bad for me because
Great.
when I write novels, I hate writing descriptions and I
Hmm.
very much dislike inner thought. I'm like, if the dialogue doesn't do it, then it shouldn't be there. And a
Hmm.
screenplay affirms all of those terrible habits.
Great. Great. Good, good, good.
Because there's no descriptions. The descriptions are
Yep.
like a couple sentences in present tense, and
Hmm.
there's no inner thought. And I'm like, this
Hmm.
is the most glorious writing of all time. So when I come back to nerds, I just want to warn you,
Great. I can't wait.
you're gonna get a whole bunch of chapters where you're like, who's the POV here? I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Great.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Cool.
Oh,
Great.
all right. Thanks, man. This is great.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're starting to offer this service to other people. I wanted to say that
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, other
Yeah.
people can hire you to do tarot readings with them and think through things.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I
Anything
love thinking
else?
about story.
You want the last
Um,
last word? Last thought?
nah. Bye.